Hello, everyone. Welcome to Eternal Super League Week 6. This is Season 2. We are in Week 6. As you can see on your screen, you have the standings at the end of Week 5. We have F1515 at the top, still undefeated. And Jai, Torin, and Sidira are all at a arm's length from the top. Everyone at 2 or 3 games from OF right now. This is still this is the last week in phase 2, so you'll see the players still playing the same decks from the previous 2 weeks, still playing with the old point list from before Vantage Point. But next week you'll see players bring in new decks. They'll have a chance to adapt and change their decks, and you'll see for the first time in the league new a new the new point system, the new point update have effect on the league. For now, I have Narco Mushroom and Sidra with me. How are you doing, folks? Hold up. Before you say anything, I'll unmute you. And there you go. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
We're not muted. That's great. Thank you, Airlock. Yes, I do very, very well. I'm very, very excited to watch the final week of Phase 2. Yeah, as you said, of 15-15, tearing away up at the top. 4 rounds played, 4 rounds they have swept. So they are 8-0 going into this week. And they said, as you said, they have a banger matchup against Toron, last season's champions. So can Toron close that gap? Toron is one of the few people sort of hovering in and around that sort of spot where they can challenge of 15-15. Jai, as well as you said, and City Row, all capable of catching up to of 15-15, doing their best to try and minimize that gap that of 15 has managed to create for themselves. But yes, tonight we have of 15 and Toron facing off in the final week of phase 2. I'm really excited. City Row, are you excited?
For sure. I think games are going to be interesting tonight.
Absolutely, there's a lot to play for tonight as we kind of wrap things up in phase 2. And as you say, look forward to phase 3 where we have a new points list, new decks for players to play. And yeah, we'll see how the standings shake out and if we will be anywhere closer to crowning a Season 2 champion.
Yeah.
Wonderful. With that being said, then let's jump into our first game for the night. We have the current reigning champion against the current point leader up ahead. First game of the night. 2 titans of the format facing each other. I'll let you two comment over this one, and I'll provide some help along the way. So enjoy.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, Warlock, for segging us in. Yes, this is all 15-15 versus Toron, our Season 1 champion. This is what decks do we have today? So Toron on the much expected World Tree Woo. At this point, we know Toron is a big, big fan of this deck and a big proponent of this deck. All 15-15 on the IG, the power shutdown IG list, this kind of lockout combo strategy that wants to play a bunch of end the run effects and then a civic grid to basically make it so that they can score agendas completely uncontested. CDRO, thoughts on this matchup? Have you encountered any of these decks yet? Or did you play against either of these players in phase 2? And what are you kind of feeling for this matchup?
I mean, decks that of 15-15 on is kinda kinda ew. I don't know how to say. Like how Turan said about his World Review deck. You need to win. You need to be just faster than Wu. And I think if IG draw right cards, it can be faster than Toron.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen this kind of IG deck. It's very, very strong. It can kind of tech for basically anything, but the problem is it takes a while for it to get set up. You need to be able to make those runs to get World Tree Woo value, or to get the World Tree value and to get your rig set up. And we see here Toron is getting there. He has managed to get the World Tree down, get Degdeer down, which is key to this deck's MU solution. And we see as well the Industrial Genomics has managed to find and stick a cohort guidance program and has now managed to resolve a Violet level clearance. So tons of gas for IG, both players off to kind of a strong enough start. For IG or for Wu, it's very easy for the IG deck to completely lock out the runner and stop them from getting that World Tree Wu value. So it remains to see what Toron has access to in the deck to kind of battle the Nanocivic grade Wampoa lockdown or prison side of strategy that the IG deck is able to put together. We see L15 throwing out a bunch of cards. That IG trash tax 7 extra credits now if Toron wants to trash anything in the IG deck.
And looking just at setup. Shaper.
Yeah, Wu just trying to set up here. Try and get an economy going. We see a hyperdriver get brought down onto the Degdeer. This is obviously not going to cost any MU. We access Genetics Pavilion again. Some pretty rough luck in the accesses. I guess that is probably the best strategy that you have as Wu in this matchup is to try and play aggressive, try and find those agendas early to make it harder. If you can find the Regenesis as well, because that is such an important part of this deck. And we see a second Violet level clearance for all 15-15, all gas for all 15. This is not
Just
a great
finding the
start
key.
for Toron.
Yeah.
Toron getting a little bit of Beth value and the hyperdriver, so 3 extra clicks, so 7 clicks, getting an extra bit of value out of the Beth, Kilrain Chang. We'll see now. I suppose the window to contest the board now has kind of passed. We have 10 cards in archives. It's going to be very, very hard for Toron to effectively contest the board, but we're going to see him run and check what's in server 2 here. You always have to be careful of the Regenesis threat that this deck is able to pose.
And see, Genetic Pavilion, a card that really awkward to play against, especially on some comboable strategies that we luckily will not see any time soon.
Yeah, this card is pretty brutal against the combo Wu strategy that we haven't actually really seen this phase. The combo Wu deck has kind of largely disappeared after dominating phase 1. Here in phase 2, it's not being as represented. I think there might only be 2 copies of Wu in phase 2, and one of them is World Tree. So Genetics Pavilion does an awful lot of work there. But as we see here, Laguna Velasco District likes to draw a lot of cards. It's a great way of drawing a lot of cards. Genetics Pavilion, perfect counter for the 5 cost resource in Laguna Velasco. So now Toron is trying to find what is the best solution that he has access to in the Wu toolkit. Cupulation is a great start. That's going to let him take care of one of these problematic assets that's been so heavily taxed by the IG additional costs.
For sure. And I think in this deck you have all the chips and you can just recur your calculation over and over again.
Yeah, so if you can build up an engine, if you can get your kind of value engine and a recursion engine going, you can kind of cycle through these cupulations and use that to take care of the board. I don't know if Toron is on any copies of Pinhole threading. Pinhole plus cupulation, really, really powerful at dealing with the Wampoa reclamation that is part of this kind of lockout strategy. The plan with this IG deck, if you're not familiar, is to power shut down the entire deck, your entire R&D into archives. Then you Jackson back a couple of cards. I think you can use Jackson. Pardon me, a Regenesis getting scored out. That is 4 points on the board. We have a future perfect entering the score area, and with a click to spare of 15-15, able to establish a board. We have a trick shot now has been drawn off the Beth Kilrain Chang, but this is a really, really aggressive start here from L15, looking to just score out while Cabaness Wu isn't in a position to contest archives.
Dang.
Toron having a lot to think about drawing up. There's no Genetics Pavilion that he needs to worry about, so can draw pretty aggressively with the Laguna Velasco. Getting a Muse, and there now. Oh, I would have thought going for the Coalition, but no, going for the Coalescence, looking to money up, and here's a trick shot. We've forgotten about this card in Standard, but it is a very eternal legal, no points required at all. And we're going to see now the World Tree continue to build up. There's a Hyperdriver, there's a Chairman Hero not getting trashed anytime soon. Let me check here
Yeah.
what's in server 4.
10 credits to trash.
A 10 trash cost Bioethics Association. Huge trash cost. That is just sticking. I don't know how Toron is going to be able to manage to deal with this without just making himself completely bankrupt, but he's going to trash it. He sees that the net damage is just more important. Or sparing the net damage is more important than the 10 credits.
It's just installing some zero cost resources to bring something with World Tree, the running engine.
Yeah, so this deck is packed with sort of zero cost resources, zero cost programs and hardware, or programs that give you money, like in the form of Coalescence, just so that you can get cheap installables down that you can then turn into actual parts of your engine later on. We're seeing a Kakarembo now flipping everything in. We're seeing just a quick little take back here to Kakarembo, an awkward card to kind of resolve. Toron asking to look at the face downs. I think, yeah, so Toron is just going to quickly check what was face up. There's 2 Violet level, a Genetic, a Bioethics, and a Shock. And now the Kakarembo will resolve. So that will flip everything down, increasing the IG cost. And now off 15 will get to reinstall something. More than likely, a Bioethics, I imagine, would be the call.
I don't really remember decks of Kakarembo.
Yeah, Kakarembo. It's a weird card that saw play, or that sees play in Eternal IG, but doesn't really see play much of it elsewhere. It's a 2-cost operation. It's a triple, so it's 2 extra clicks to play. And what it says is it flips all. You can trash any number of cards from HQ, and then you turn every card in Archives face down and install a card then from Archives, placing 2 counters on it. The main part of the text is you flip everything in Archives face down. So for IG, if the runners manage to flip everything in Archives face up, IG then can play Kakarembo to flip everything face down and get their tax back.
And important to know that Kakarembo not have to be some cards, some advanceable cards. It can be anything.
It can be anything, and we're going to see exactly what that anything is here. This does seem to me like it'll probably be a Bioethics. And it is a Bioethics Association. So this Bioethics Association costing a whopping 15 credits to trash. This net damage is going to start to hit. Now, this Wu deck can suffer net damage a little bit better than the combo Wu decks. The net damage isn't quite as punishing, doesn't hit key pieces out of hand. A lot of the deck is very redundant. It just kind of, it's all cheap installables that you can get World Tree value off of, but it's still a huge problem for this World Tree deck to deal with.
Okay. I have to know. Am I missing something? On the previous point list, Cabanessa worth 3 points, Hyperdriver worth 3 points, and Temujin worth 3 points too.
That's an excellent question. I think Temujin might not be 3. I thought Temujin might have been 1 or 2. I'm not sure the exact point spread of Toron's deck. I know Hyperdriver was, I think Hyperdriver is 3 points. and Wu, I think, might have been 3. So maybe Temujin is 1 point. I am not 100% certain, but we're seeing here a run on archives, flipping everything face up. Toron saying, I have to just eat the damage now. Future Perfect, finding the Future Perfect in archives, putting it onto the Film Critic. That is huge for Toron, finding an agenda. If he can find another 2, then there's Breach Dome, a table Breach Dome. Toron just going to leave that there. Happy to leave it there for the time being. Chat confirming that Temujin was 2 and Wu was also 2 points, and then Hybrid Driver was 3. So that's the points spread. Toron laughing about not seeing Breached Dome installed on the table. This is a man that has never played Breached Dome Scorp, let me tell you that much. So I think Toron just debating whether or not he prevents the 1 net damage. No, he's just going to take the net damage, loses a symbol chip in the process, but that's fine. He has access to clone chips and symbol chips, so no worries about recursion there. And of course, the issue with IG is that once you're able to stick a cohort guidance program, even if the runner is able to flip archives face up and negate your IG tax, the cohort guidance program just straight away starts to fill up those face downs in archives again. You're never really free from the constricting grasp of IG.
It was a card.
It is absolutely a hell of a card, and we're seeing an over install on the Breach Dome, so archives back up to 4. I think there was something like 2 or 3 pieces of poison in archives. I think there was 2 shocks and a Breach Dome. So 3 net damage awaits archives if Toron wants to flip everything back up. Toron now getting a second World Tree down, so double dipping on the triggers here. We're just having a look to see what it is he's looking to pick up. Lots of options available for Toron here. Lots of resources that he can take, that he can freely install from his deck in most cases. And we're just going to see what he looks. He's hovering over the Daily Cast. Daily Cast is a fine shout, getting some money, getting Lily Pad down for that little bit of extra MU. And we see a Rashida, a 5 to trash Rashida. And Toron firing off a Diesel. Get some more card draw. Still plenty of cards left in deck. I don't think we're going to see this deck get ground out in any way, but I think we will. There is the worry of potentially seeing a lockout from the Wampoa and then a Civic Grid combo.
Yeah, for sure.
So we had a quick flash of archives there. Obviously, as we said, or as we all know for ESL, these games are pre-recorded, so we're not watching live games. We're also not looking at JNet replays, so we're not able to check archives for what exactly is in there. But I believe there's about 2 or 3 points of net damage waiting in archives if Toron feels like flipping archives face up and checking the board. Now, he does have 5 clicks thanks to the Beth. He could install, let's see. Yes, we're going to see Laguna Velasco get picked up. Parisha comes down now off of the Wu install, so I think Toron might be looking for a flip turn. So I think Toron is going to just going for double Parisha, wooing out double Parisha.
Damn.
What is he going to pick up? Again, a host of programs available. You can see here we have Rozekis, we have Pisha Shao, we have Palangi, all those ice-breaking tools, not really useful in this matchup, but we're going to see a Degdeer come down. And Magnum Opus perhaps hit the table for some money. That's where he's hovering. And yes, going for the Magnum Opus just to click for 2 credits.
Yeah. When I first saw this card, I never thought that I will see it anytime soon, but turns out it's really good in World 3 decks.
Absolutely. And these decks that just want to be able to, they can get set up, find these ways of cheating MU. They're able to like eventually reach a board state where they can click Magnum Opus is basically just late game. It adds to their economy where Roseki's that they can just camp their moat, camp the board state, and not have to really worry about credits for the remainder of the game. And we're seeing advance here. Install advance. Could this be a hybrid release?
I don't really know. Or
I-
is this
I-
any drop?
I'm not
I
sure what
mean,
agendas this deck is playing or what advanceables, but it's just going to be an install advance on the table. This could be something like a. What could it be? This could be like an Obokata protocol, perhaps.
or
What do you do here now if you're Tauron?
Urtica Clipper. I don't know, man.
Tauron going to have a think either way, see what happens. Finding a Yogg off of their draw. Not particularly helpful, but we're going to use the film critic, free up the film critic, and run server 10. If it's an agenda, it can go onto the film critic. If it's an Obokata protocol, and it doesn't look like it is, that's going to be in a res of the hostile infrastructure. So something tells me that this isn't an agenda, that this might be a trashable. This could be something like a clearinghouse. This could be GG.
Yo, what's going on?
Tauron does have credit, so he can use the feedback filter to dodge some of the damage from the bioethics, but this is beginning to be the constraint. I don't think this is quite the IG list that's playing Nana Civic Grid and Power Shutdown. It's playing a couple of the more sort of acidy type pieces, so I think it could be,
Yeah.
or it could be on a mixture of both. We're seeing Tauron just going through the motions here, having a look at what he can install off these world trees. What have we got? What do we have in
Yeah,
server 10? It is a
clearinghouse.
clearinghouse, but he has the cupellation. He's able to cup the clearinghouse, and he gets to breathe
Okay.
for one more turn.
Like Torn board state is like staircase.
Yes, these we see Tauron just quickly change some of his extension. You see Tauron uses the very popular, very excellent Cyber Feeder extension. And yeah, just have a look at that. 4 programs stacked on top of each other. This is a deck that really stretches the not only the JNet interface, but I think the layering rules of Netrunner.
Yeah, and Toron needs to find a way to deal with. Oh, I forget the name.
All 15 using genotyping, and then recur back some of those key assets, fill up archives a little bit more. You can see R&D is beginning to get a little bit thin. A conduit did get hit by net damage, which is really unfortunate. At this point, if you're Tauron, you could argue to just go for on a big conduit run. There's not this deck. This is a Jiteki deck that doesn't play a ton of traps like snare and fetal AI protocol and things like that. You do have sort of errant shocks and breach domes, but we're going to see off 15 install 2 cards in archives. This could be game at any moment thanks to Regenesis. Beth clicklessly drawing a card. What can Tauron do? This could be the last play of the game. Could be the last turn.
I think you should here run 2 servers because Regenesis is a threat for sure.
Yeah, I think Tauron, more than likely, I think we see Tauron check these 2 servers, try and find the Regenesis off the table. This deck, I don't think this IG deck's particularly good at fast advancing Regenesis. It doesn't play things like Moonpool. Tauron going to spend 2 clicks, drawing 4 cards thanks to the Laguna Velasco district. The other problem is you have this Keeling that's just sort of sitting around constricting hand size. I mean, you know, you're being presented with a serious fork where you have bioethics chipping away net damage, Keeling restricting your hand size, pardon me, and then you've also got to check for the Regenesis that could be sitting on
Yeah.
the table. So there's a lot of things that are taking up Toron's attention, taking up his resources that he is very quickly running out of. Seeing a Symbol Chip come down. If one of these cards is a Regenesis, this is game. We're seeing a Muse come down, probably fetching that Capillation so that he can deal with this Keeling that's becoming a serious issue for him.
Yeah. And second World Tree, uh, World Tree, second World Tree not getting its value, and we see advance on server 11.
Yeah, this could be. There's two advancements after going on server 11. This could be the Regenesis. It's getting advanced more. It's not a Regenesis. It's just a 5/3. It's a
And
bacterial program. Table bacterial programming wins the game for all 15-15. All 15 continues
yeah,
to win in the
then
Eternal Super League, now 9-0 across
it's
9 games.
scary.
9 games played, 9 wins. Huge result.
Damn. This is crazy.
This is an incredible run. We saw 15 do this again, do the same thing last year, where they went on this incredible undefeated run. Now they did slip up in phase 3. Unfortunately, they ended up going 1-5 in phase 3, and allowed Toron a chance to catch up and eventually overtake him on the final week, or overtake them in the final week. My apologies, but of 15 now, 9-0. Can we see Toron in game 2 here pick up a game, make it a little bit easier for Toron, Jai, potentially even my co-caster here, CD Row, to catch up to off 15? Let's move on to game 2, I think, and see, will off 15 go 2 entire phases completely undefeated?
Yeah, it is actually like as 015, like I don't know what he feels to like play that much games and win in a row so many times.
Yeah, it's just incredible consistency. It's to go 9 straight weeks, getting 9 straight wins. It's genuinely, the consistency is unbelievable. And we're going to see here Toron on kind of his signature pick, Cerebral Imaging, and Andy. All 15 is on Reg Andy. We're going to see. This is a great opening hand, by the way, for Andy. 2 account siphons, a boomerang. There's a Crisium grid on HQ.
Ouch.
But going for the trash, opting to trash the Crisium grid, it is that important.
Not even considering not to.
Toron facing a difficult decision. Does he res this ice? He doesn't really have the money to do so, but there's an ELP. There's a very, very important current. And Al 15 hovering over that clean getaway, maybe looking for another access. You kind of have to play a little bit aggressively into the CI deck, try and sniff out the agendas before they get scored. There's a fair trial 3, so Al 15 knows now that that is in hand for Toron.
Yeah. And
Toron
now,
hasn't found a clearance yet. Hasn't found any economy or burst econ or burst draw, which means this siphon now is going to really punish Toron here.
no,
Going to not just strip away credits, but also strip away cards from hand. This is
no
probably coming at the
res.
worst possible time. No res on the ice. If you're off 15, do you double siphon?
I don't think 2 credits is already bad for CI. And I mean, now you saw him the second time.
Yeah, now it's even better because now Ob 15 can install a Desperado and do land the second siphon,
Not
bringing
even
Toron down to a
installed.
clean 0 credits. This is a horrible start for Toron, but it's a blessed start. There's a third siphon. A third siphon has hit the grip for all 15-15. Toron is in econ hell, and when CI is
Oh
in
my
econ hell,
god.
that is just regular hell.
Hell
And as
is
it stands,
they say. This is hell. Oh my
this
god, it's painful to watch. And we found it. Transfer. Oh
that's
my
a
god.
transfer coming in now. This is just all 50. This is, I can tell you now, folks.
God.
This might look scripted. This is not scripted. Accessing a
Oh,
punitive, that punitive is never landing. Between all of this money and the Citadel Sanctuary, that punitive is never happening. I swear, if this is the second transfer, I'm going to be very, very impressed and mad. Checking
damn.
archives. That's
Two
game.
minutes.
That's double Vanity Project. That is 8 points.
I mean, this start is something different. These
That
throws are crazy. Two siphons in hand. Water ice on HQ, I wonder. Like, what you don't raising on 7 credits in this deck to not duck.
Yeah, that was just a brutal, brutal opening from all 15-15. Toron didn't have a violet level clearance, didn't find an ultraviolet. There was no money or draw that Toron eventually had access to kind of not just insulate himself, draw a few agendas, and be able to throw out a couple of random cards into archives. But he was getting boomerang siphoned into the dirt, never found the bounce back economy, didn't find the YDLs either, and just got put completely into the dirt. He never had
That's
more than
something
7
crazy.
credits. Was the richest Toron was that game. 7 credits before he got siphon locked to death.
7 credit with CI. Oh my god, it's pain. Pure pain.
With that, all 15-15 across 2 phases, across 5 rounds. Obviously, they had a bye week. 5 rounds, 10 games, 10 wins, 30
Just,
points.
just stable sweeping everyone.
That is unbelievable. They now, with an entire phase to go, have the same number of wins as they had in season 1.
It's 30 points, but you already have the bye week pass.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
my
yeah.
god.
All 15-15 has already had their bye week, so it is pure gas now. It is pure points. Everyone now is playing a game behind of 15-15. So we'll see. Never write anything off. We saw a similar start from 15 last year, going 9-1 across the first 2 phases before eventually going 1-5 in phase 3. So who knows? Things could play out very, very differently to what we're expecting. But well done to both players. Commiserations to
Yeah.
Toron getting swept, but I don't think with the rate things are going, I think everyone's getting swept by up 15 these days. So I don't think there's anything too bad about getting swept by our points leader. And congratulations, obviously, to 15-15 for continuing their unbeaten run in the Eternal Super League Season 2. I think let's move on to our second game. At the opposite end of the table, we have Ace Empress and Augustus Caesar, both of whom looking to kind of get out of that bottom 3 of the leaderboard and kind of stabilize themselves, get into the mid-table so that they can dodge the kind of that relegation zone that we have in Eternal Super League. So both players not having the best seasons. We're going to see here this Geist deck. This Geist deck is cursed because I don't think we've actually been able to see this Geist deck in proper action so far. There's been scarcities, there's been quick kills. So hopefully here we get to see Augustus pull out this Geist deck and show it off.
I don't know how the hell anyone just think about this. Like, Blink, seriously, it's not even playable in standard. Blink.
Yes, this is the hot tech, this Bling Geist deck That, and you see here, because like Augustus plays a bunch of various different zero costs
And we
in
just getting Siphon trashed.
yeah, that you can
Just
trash
Siphon
to
trashed.
Geist. So it kind of works. Like this bling, like the logic makes sense. But we're seeing Ace Empress install, advance, advance, advance. Is this an Astra script? That's an
Yes, it
Astra
is.
script pilot program. We are out of the gates, racing ahead. What a start from Nebula.
What is going on? What is going on?
Augustus just installing a bunch of cards, getting bling value. This diversion is
Damn.
going to get trashed. That's the other nice thing, is that if you see a crowdfunding on top, if you put a crowdfunding onto the bling, yeah, Ace Empress saying bling really says play a card, copy it, then get a siphon effect. It's pretty good, actually, when you play a bunch of zero cost resources.
I
I
mean,
think
if this is
crowdfunding.
a text, like, I'm down to play it.
I'm shocked. And crowdfunding as well. I think all the crowdfunding installs trigger bling as well, because they're all zero cost resources, so they all get you
Yeah.
get to get a bunch of bling value. Now it doesn't really work super well because that all happens at the end of turn, but still, tons and tons of ways to trigger bling in this matchup. Ace Empress though, with the AstroScript pilot program, with the Astro token, we all know about Astro Train. We all know how quickly and how out of hand that can get. So let's see what Augustus is able to do,
We
taking
found
a bunch
him
of
on.
actions, taking a bunch of clickless actions. There's a Street Peddler, a huge, huge card for Geist. What is on the Peddler? What
It,
is he selling?
it's Employee Strike that low, another Street Peddler, and another Tech Trader.
Yeah, so the Tech Trader, pretty good find here to have in the Street Peddler.
Yeah. Then earlier you get it, then better for Guy's deck. And
Yeah,
now,
finding your tech trade is really important for Geist being able to get that engine where every trashable gets you your 3 credits back. When you have stuff like in standard, you used to be able to do things with boomerang and masterwork to basically have free boomerangs, which is quite powerful to get a free clickless
but
boomerang.
when we will not see Masterwork here because we have a Blink. Yoo-hoo!
Yes, this is just going all in on the blink value, and the chat pointing out that the crowdfunding installs happen after the discard phase. So if you get back all of your crowdfundings, you get 3 bling triggers, all of which they get on the bling and they stay there until your next turn. So huge value. This deck
Yeah,
just built to abuse bling as best as possible.
but I mean, you first need to uh, stack your crown points on a Blink deck. Blink deck. Oh god.
I mean, I think it's really sick. I think this is a really, really innovative and really, really interesting deck that Augustus has managed to bring forward for
Yeah,
phase 2. Though unfortunately does have, I think, maybe the worst scarcity of resources matchup of any runner in Netrunner, in Eternal Netrunner. But there's a Bellona,
find
so it doesn't get to land the
Bellona.
Doof, but does get to find the Bellona and will get to trash Crisium. Are we going to see a Tritium? No, Tritium. My goodness, Crisium Grid staying untrashed but finding a Bellona, huge, huge for Geist.
Um, I wonder if you trash it, you have Siphon in hand.
I guess you don't want to go too low on credits. That you do have to worry about the hard hitting news threat, and you do want to
Yeah.
make it a little.
Oh yeah,
You do have a credit lead, and you have a link. So I don't think Augustus wants to disrupt a strong position to not get HH end. So leaving the
yeah.
Crisium Grid there until he's able to find something like a Miss Bones or some other way of easily dealing with it.
And 2 decks is actually bad against this deck.
Seeing Ace Empress digging a little bit with a Spin Doctor, playing a predictive plan around to draw 3 cards, getting the click back, and now going for the YDL, gaining a click. Such powerful text. And in Nebula, obviously, it's a very, very easy way to trigger that extra click. Just play an operation. You get to play an operation clicklessly every turn. That is
Yeah,
powerful text. And we're seeing a second ice go on the remote here and an install but behind it. This looks like it could be an agenda.
we
What
founded our third crowdfunding and the
we
Rhino
find
HQ.
the third crowdfunding. So this is going to be maximum bling value here, getting all these crowdfundings down.
Yeah, but you need to stack them on a blink deck. Oh my god.
It is great to finally see this bling deck actually in action and work. I think Augustus has had some pretty awful matchups, some pretty cursed matchups. Getting the Wake Implant down and just charging it up on HQ. I don't think this is a deck that can really bust the remote open cleanly.
Yeah,
We're seeing Data Raven come down. Unfortunately, this is going to work pretty well for Augustus. It's just a credit now, so that's a great card to have your Physarum Entangler on. Gets past Data Raven for 1 credit, no tag needed.
yeah. And
I
you're
think
not
Has
getting
Augustus miss?
crowdfundings because there was a
Augustus is
critical win.
miscounted.
Yeah, because
That is
you know
brutal. So
what? This is
missing
a
out on
big deck.
crowdfunding value.
They just wasting this click to install Wake Implant are costing like 9 credits and 3 card draw and another 3 card draw. Okay, this is sick. And we see that Ace Empress just purges to get rid of this Physarum.
Yeah,
Just
that's
not
rough. So you had
allow
this
this.
really, really lovely engine where you could get into HQ for just 1 credit with getting Wake triggers, being able to build up your multi-access, get easy
Yeah,
access to crowdfundings. Now you don't really have that. I don't know how many copies of Physarum this deck is playing. Probably more than 1 just because of how well it fits. But we're
and we
seeing
start to diverging the corporation. Yeah, it's actually tough without all the popping.
so we're gonna see the
It's
Doof come
gonna,
down. Gets broken for 2 credits with Bugalter.
yeah, band and standard, but in Eternal, everything can
Eternal,
happen.
it's not even pointed. It's just a good breaker.
Yeah, and we
Seems so
see
much
seamless launch.
this is 4 advance.
Advance from
Ace Empress
yeah,
using the Astro counters. That is Bologna coming down. Ace Empress
another
now is
card that banned
threatening
in
game
standard.
point.
Yeah, and getting 5 credits totally like getting back a value from the score. Damn, this card is good.
Another Data Raven on a central is going to be really, really awkward now for Augustus to deal with. The Boomerang
If I
does get paid for, does get a refund, and we're going to see this Wake Implant get cashed in, finding a Rashida, finding a breaking news, finding an under the bus, and another Rashida. Not the best, but not the
yeah,
worst Wake dig in the world.
yeah, and I wonder if you're just hoping to draw your Citadel Sanctuary to just get this free run on HQ. Like, not really, or not really free, but tech is actually kind of annoying there. You can siphon really easily because you need to clear 3 tags.
Yeah, it's really awkward here for Augustus to be able to siphon and land the econ pressure. Now, Ace Empress taking fair time and not so obviously doesn't have the win in hand, but seeing a jam, this could be a jam. We're seeing under the bus getting used, blowing up one of the tech traders. Not the best for Geist, your engine getting disrupted like this, but I don't think we're going to be seeing this game go much longer. So I
Yeah,
don't think
and
worrying too much about losing a tech trader here.
bad publicity is definitely gonna help.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this bad pub in Geist is very, very powerful.
I
We're
mean,
going
bad
to
buff is
see
good in any current deck.
For sure, especially with Bugalter down and you're able to start turning your bad pub credits into real credits. Ace Empress
Yeah,
only has 6 credits. There's not a lot that Fair are able to res. So maybe we could see Augustus just charging into this remote, forcing you have a sentry, you have a killer down. There's not much going to worry you, but we're just going to see a count siphon. And I guess Augustus is saying, you know what? I'm going to get tagged to hell. I may as well get tagged to hell, but keep you poor.
yeah, and actually we saw two Rashidis on top of R&D, and I think we have a thing that Zero 3 is just a Rashida, but we going to trash it just for economic denial, and bad publicity will help with it.
Yeah, so getting rid of that Rashida for free is really, really strong. I actually thought that Augustus trashed the Rashidas out of R&D when he was digging with Wake Implant. But we're on game point, checking archives, finding the boom. The boom is in archives.
Damn,
And
clearly.
now getting the crowdfunding value, finding a street peddler onto the bling, tech trader onto the bling, boomerang onto the bling, doesn't get discarded. That is install 3 crowdfundings and draw 3 cards.
Okay, this is
I'm seeing the
see.
vision now. I'm starting to see this deck and it's sick as hell.
Okay, I like kind of skeptic to stack, but okay, it's kind of cool.
I apologize, Augustus Caesar. I was not familiar with your game. This deck is sick. The interaction with crowdfunding is sick.
Yeah.
Augustus asking, do you have it? Ace Empress. It doesn't look like Ace Empress has. Oh, maybe.
Just thinking about the lines.
Yeah, so Ace Empress is just checking to make sure that Faye have. What are we seeing? We're
Oh,
seeing
24/7
24/7
to
into
get credits. Oh my
24/7 for the
god.
credits. We've seen this now twice in ESL. What a way.
Oh my god.
What a way to finish the game. I thought there was a planogram in hand. That was where Ace Empress was going to get the money from. But no, 24/7 to trigger the on score effect of Bologna, gain 5 credits, and boom the runner. What a
Parfitting,
line to find.
parfitting auto script. Nebula
Sacking a
deck is
master script
just
pilot program.
crazy.
You don't see that very often in a Netrunner, but you certainly do when it wins the game. What a play. What a line from Ace Empress. Commiserations to Augustus Caesar. What a deck. I love this Augustus deck. Or I love this deck from Augustus, this guy's deck. Really, really interesting, really, really innovative. And this is the kind of stuff we love to see in the Eternal Super League.
Yeah,
Congratulations to both players on game one. What a game one. Let's see how they fare in the reverse.
yeah, that's really pretty interesting because it's combo kill op against some shenanigans on Ari Sana, and I think in this game we actually will see some interface problems because of new JNet template with indexing, just not showing cards, but I think players will find their way to fix this and play their
Yeah,
fun.
so there is a bit of a technical issue in this game, just as a heads up to players regarding indexing. There's a small bug with indexing at the moment on JNet. Obviously, we're hoping we'll get fixed for the remainder of the ESL. But yes, just so that people do have a heads up. But I think we've managed to find a workaround for our players. We're seeing Augustus on Ob. This is typically a combo deck that looks to use mutually shared destruction and Jeeves to kill the runner very, very quickly. We're seeing here an indexing come down along with an Aaron Moran,
Yeah,
and
and this
indexing
is how
showing nothing. So small technical issue. We'll just
I
see these
was
players.
just typing in chat. Thank you, Janet.
Thank you,
Really?
Jaina. Very, very cool. Yeah, so we're going to see just a quick pause here We're just gonna have a quick check and just see how these players are able to navigate it. Just a small spoiler alert: these players were able to resolve this issue, so don't worry, this does get fixed. But while we're waiting for the players to just work around this small little issue, actually, thanks to the power of editing magic, we've actually been able to completely skip forward. So yes, both players coming to a solution. There is a workaround. It is just a matter of a little bit of memory and remembering what order the cards are in. So we can see that the card order is in the chat log, and then we'll be able to see now what gets put on top. So we have a quick check here. The top of R&D has been resorted to be an SSL endorsement, a Jeeves Model Bayreuth, a Kesselroyd, a Rashida, and an Executive Boot Camp.
Yeah. And you're putting Executive Boot Camp on the bottom because it's kinda a really important OB card especially in a mutually assured distraction deck, because it just allows you to res ice, and ice is just a res card for op combo.
And we're seeing now Ace Empress is going to pick up the SSL endorsement off of this trick shot. I kind of wonder. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Or excuse me, Ace Empress just checking to make sure there was no advanced assembly lines. And yes, going to steal this SSL endorsement, get the Aaron Moran value, huge in this matchup, being able to clear tags, and now going to kill this Jeeves Model Bayreuth, a key combo piece for the deck. And we're going to see Ace Empress now debate about running server 1. You can kind of run server 1 here pretty freely. This deck doesn't have a lot of very punishing checks. Opting instead, just going to leave it as is, happy with the 3 points. And we see Rashida is going to get fired. So that indexing, a little bit of work on that indexing has now been undone.
All this work Ace Empress did just for nothing. How dare you, Augustus?
Rashida, damn good card. So I hear. A damn good card. Augustus now, lots of money, lots of cards in hand. We'll see, is he able to put together the combo, the mutually assured Jeeves combo. We've seen a Jeeves go down, but we'll see what he's able to put together and assemble on this board state. One new remote, one card in the remote, 2 fresh installs. Oh, and we're going to see a CVS popped, get the Estelle into server 1. And now we're going to get the Estelle value. Estelle Moon, a card we don't see quite as much these days. It's kind of fallen a little bit out of favor in the Eternal metagame, but incredibly, incredibly powerful card. A way for asset decks to just explode with value. And in this Ob deck, it double dips. It gives you money and credits and also gives you an Ob trigger. It's kind of the perfect card for Ob combo in Eternal.
And you can constantly tutor it. And usually you do it on a first turn, and this is just crazy. Like, yeah, and you can get a lot of cool stuff on the op ability one cost, like Mark Yale, some ice. I don't know what Augustus is playing.
So yeah, so Ace Empress is just going to draw up a little bit. We've seen this deck before. It's this kind of very aggressive, deep dive focused Arasana list that just wants to play these powerful run events that Shaper has access to. And we're seeing an indexing come down as part of that package. Going to see these players work around this small JNet issue. Might just take a minute or so for these players to figure it out and to resolve the indexing. But yeah, this deck, it wants to play a lot of sort of powerful run events using the Arsana ability to get past ice very, very easily and very, very cheaply, so that it can land big deep dives thanks to a mix of Hyperdrive or Pisha Shows. That's a pretty good.
It's good indexing. And with trick shot in hand, you're just floating. You can just trick shot R&D, got 5 points and just win.
You can just win, but
Yeah,
Augustus.
but Augustus able to shuffle the deck.
Yeah, so this is the issue. Augustus is able to pop at instant speed and not worry too much. Exempress pointing out that Exempress is able to reorder those, but doesn't super matter because the deck is just getting shuffled straight after. So not a massive worry, not a massive concern for our players here.
Exempress just save some time.
And we're going to see a hyperdriver come down. There's that executive boot camp that we saw from the R&D or from the indexing.
Just
The other upside
starting
that
to
Estelle Moon has,
press some
Estelle Moon
cards.
drawing Augustus a bunch of cards and a bunch of credits, acting like a little mini Rashida of sorts, while also giving a valuable ob trigger.
Yeah, and Augustus, I think, thinks about on his turn to crack advanced assembly lines to get a Rashida, but I think you can do it legally. Yeah, we're getting some issues.
Yeah, so I think there's a small timing issue. Yeah, so I think Augustus wants to pop the advanced assembly lines in or on his turn, start of his turn.
Yeah. Before on after start, but before every on start of turn ability
Before everything
enters on.
triggers, yeah. So there's a paid ability window. There's a paid ability window after the turn is started that the corp can use to activate to use effect. So we're just gonna have a quick check. Yeah, so this is going to be popping the advanced assembly lines.
Oh, just for vanilla.
Yeah, so this is popping the advanced assembly lines in Augustus's start of turn.
Yeah, just to install Rashida from hand and tutor a vanilla from R&D.
Yes, so now the players just need to bear in mind that Ob has been used this. Players are trusting each other with some of these manual workarounds. But yes, Ob or Augustus doing all this on start of his turn, so he can use he can fire the Rashida and get the vanilla down. Just need to bear in mind that the Ob trigger has been used for this turn, and we're going to see Executive Boot Camp get border control res, because that is one of the issues that this Ob deck can have, is that it can actually not have enough res cards sometimes. If you're able to keep the board under control like that, you can actually minimize the amount of installables that can be trashed to mad, and keep the combo at bay that way. But Executive Boot Camp, huge for that, lets you get around the runner not running and letting you res ice, so that you can eventually do the mad combo. We're seeing a couple of installs here come down for Augustus.
And actually, if Server 2 was Jeeves and Augustus had all cards, I mean, 3 cards at hand, no, 2 cards in hand, mutually assured destruction and high profile target, he could have just won right here.
That is true, yes.
We don't see it, we just see some installs. Oh, Augustus wants to undo.
So we're seeing a quick little undo. Augustus wants to change maybe some of the sequencing. There's another Estelle Moon coming down, so tons of gas here for Augustus with this combo deck.
I wonder if we'll see some. Oh, no, we will not see some crazy shenanigans result. You can just keep install some cards in a root of remote servers to get Estelle Moon counters because OB already was used.
Yeah, so we know the ob was used. We had to manually kind of do some of that. And we see Augustus does have an effect on the start of Ace Empress's turn. So Ace Empress is going to pop the Hyperdriver, and now Augustus is going to trigger, it looks like advanced assembly line. So the advanced assembly lines is going to be fired. That's going to get 2 more counters onto the... It's going to get a counter onto the Estelle Moon for the advanced assembly lines trigger install. And then the Ob install could potentially give another counter for the Estelle Moon. We're not going to see quite that much. We're just going to see an ice come in to protect the Estelle Moon.
And I think just Rashida to get some Estelle value. Oh,
And no Ob trigger. Ace Empress pointing out Netrunner is a hard game. That it is. Netrunner is a very hard game. So Ace Empress is going to take the time to think through things a little bit here.
and what you meant to do as a runner right here?
We're going to have Aaron use Aaron Moran here, getting a ritual down. That is a huge, huge find for Ace Empress. Getting that incredibly powerful draw. We're not going to see this quite as much in phase 3, thanks to the Vantage Point points list update. But this is giving Ace Empress some huge gas. We have a trick shot. There is a deep dive in hand. There's also a self-modifying code. So we could see Ace Empress pull off a deep dive if Faye is able to get the credits required.
Yeah, and actually with Arizona you can do some shaper shenanigans, just install some pieces in the run during the run, but we don't have any of them right now. Just SMC that needs money and we're sitting on 1 credit. It's actually a tough position for the runner, I think.
Yeah, we have the SMC in hand. We have the Arasana building. We've seen this Arasana deck. It's able to, from very, very low credit totals, where you look and say the deep dive isn't on, Ace Empress just doesn't have enough money. We've seen this Arasana deck be able to pull off some really powerful turns on very, very low credit totals. Thanks to the power of things like Trick Shot, Creative Commission on a previous turn. It's such cheap economy, cheap bounce back economy. And here we go. The Trick Shot is coming down. Probably going to see this SMC get Arasana in. We do. What are we going to find from the deck? Probably a Propeller.
Yeah.
Yes, so we find
and
the
we
Propeller.
actually use Creative Commission not on the last click.
The rare 2-click Creative Commission.
Yeah, just 2 clicks for 2 credits. And it's not the best, but this is what you need right now. Just something to do something with the board.
So we've used the Arasana ability. I think Ace Empress is debating whether or not to trash that Malia Zaloka, opting to leave it there instead. Potentially an option, but so it looks like it might be a case of Arasana is looking to, or Ace Empress rather, is looking to use the second run. Where is Ace Empress running? I wonder, do you force the Estelle Moon Pop? No, checking server 2. This could be the Jeeves. This could be the very, very important Jeeves for combo turn. What is in server 2? Drudge work.
Just some piece against flat that really hurts this deck.
Yeah, not a piece that I think Ace Empress is particularly worried about. So probably going to see this get left on the board. Ace Empress hovering over no action. Yeah, not going to bother spending the credit on it. Every credit is very, very important on this combo turn.
Yeah, and actually it was really strange to me but sword counter on the Ratchwork actually triggers OB, and you can pull up something with that, and it's not just like something cringe in a deck. It's
We're
actually
seeing
combo piece.
here on the Hot Pursuit run, we see a board control was rezzed on HQ, so denying the 9 credits, putting Ace Empress to a very, very low credit total. But an Astrolabe is a pretty good card in this matchup. Gives you lots of clickless card draw, thanks to Ob installs, just installing assets to charge up Estelle Moons and the like. So already getting lots of card draw. We'll see here. Does Augustus continue to give Ace Empress access to cards, access to potential combo lines to fire off a deep dive?
Yeah, and playing Sprint.
Seeing Sprint just manipulate some of the agenda flow here for Augustus.
Yeah, and
an ice come down on HQ. This could be the third border control. Could also be a tour guide. But tour guide, thankfully, gets dealt with pretty efficiently by this Hush in hand.
Yeah. Another turn, another tough position for Ace Empress.
Yeah, a bit of a thought here for Ace Empress how to navigate this. We're going to see the diesel come down.
Yeah.
This could just be a case of clicking for credits and creative commissioning and hoping that you are able to survive this turn and hopefully land a deep dive next turn, preferably with an extra click to spare, so that you can do a double deep dive and win the game off of one. So yeah, just clicking for credits, playing the creative commission, getting up to 6 credits. Again, this deck can operate on very, very low credit totals. It doesn't need to be completely rich. It uses very, very cheap disposable breakers to just land deep dive as much as it can. And it's a tour guide getting rezzed on HQ. So the Hush takes care of the tour guide. The Propeller takes care of the vanilla. So the deep dive, if Ace Empress can last, is live. As I say that, another ice comes down on HQ to cut that out.
And on R&D.
And on R&D.
Damn. Oh, and we see Bas Chiriboga.
Bas Chiriboga getting tutored out of the deck.
Yo.
And this could be the final turn of the game. This could be it for Augustus. This might be the mutually assured destruction combo turn. Now, Ace Empress does have access to an Aaron Moran, so Augustus will need to use a significant amount of clicks or a significant amount of installables to float or to land enough tags to get through. There's a DDoS, though. DDoS, hugely important card in this board state, won't allow Augustus to res those 2 outermost pieces of ice and will open up the possibility for a deep dive, but it's probably come just maybe a turn or two too late. And the problem with playing the deep dive or the DDoS is that it completely telegraphs that you have access to it, which means Augustus will have a turn to prepare around DDoS deep dive.
Yeah, install some more ice. It's definitely what you can do on this deck with that many credits, that many card draw from styles.
Augustus doesn't have it, so Augustus is just drawing 3 times, getting the Jeeves click.
Yeah,
what is this going to
it's
be?
value.
He's probably looking for more ice that he can put on these centrals to insulate himself from the deep dive.
Yeah, even one more ice will be enough here, and we see it on HQ.
Yeah, finding the ice for HQ.
Strategy.
Ideally, that's another tour guide, because that's probably the piece of ice that Ace Empress is least equipped to deal with right at this second. But there's only 3 tour guides in the deck, and the other ice, it looks to be 3 border control, 3 vanilla, and 3 tour guide. So Propeller will clear most ice in the deck.
Yeah, but I mean, I saw some variation of the deck, and someone plays one copy of Enigma, and with Slap Vandal hand, it's really tough to deal with, because you just lose click on your deep dive turn, and it is not good actually.
We're seeing Ace Empress check archives here. Nothing in archives, just 2 Cyberdex Virus Suite. We already knew about one of them. Hoping that
Yeah.
maybe an agenda might have landed in archives at some point, making the deep dive that little bit less taxed. Trick
It's
shot
the
is the draw.
Tough.
And we're going to see a pre-installed Slap Vandal. Ace Empress just trying to hope and guess that that card that Faye have installed on the ice in front of in the middle of HQ there is
Yeah.
a border control. But we're going to see a Bast Chiripoga get popped. Augustus is going to go to 4 clicks.
Definitely not promising. Not anything that you really enjoy to see.
What have we got here? 4 clicks to do. This is usually the sign of the combo. He's not using OB super heavy logistics. That usually means that he's saving it for the combo. What have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 resed cards. That's 5 tags that he can give Ace Empress, which equates to 10 meat damage. Wait, has Augustus Caesar miscalculated here? Is he able to combo this turn? Malia blanking the armor on.
We see some shenanigans.
It looks like it, as mutually assured destruction gets played, gaining the extra click off the Jeeves. Declining border control, waiting. There's usually a border control that you want to use, but no OB is getting used. Consulting visit. It was he needed the extra click. Consulting visit for high profile target. Augustus Caesar wins. Credit click. Perfect combo executed.
Cool.
What a game from both players, looking 2 combo decks, both of whom trying to play around the other one, trying to play around what the other player kind of had access to stop the combo. OB frustratingly good at defending against the deep dive, putting that clock on Ace Empress to try and find that combo turn. Ace Empress managing to get the good indexing to find that SSL early, but just not able to contest the board, which is how you kind of want to approach this matchup, and just did not have the money or the tools to break past multiple copies of border control and tour guide on centrals.
Definitely was a tough game again for Ace Empress. 2 combo decks, but turns out Augustus is just faster.
Yeah, this OB deck is just capable of winning so quickly. Looked though like he had a bit of a rough draw. His high profile targets and his mutually assured destruction not turning up until very, very late in the game, but thankfully he was able to get through a lot of his deck. I say late in the game, it's turn 7. That is how quick these decks can be. Sometimes this OB deck especially used to be the terror of the format, has kind of dropped away a little bit, but is still very, very prevalent, very, very capable of winning quickly, and very good at defending against these deep dive shaper decks. So well done to both players. Well done to Augustus. Well done to Ace Empress. Both splitting here in the last week of Phase 2. Both players looking for wins here to escape that bottom 3 of the table. Congratulations to both.
Yeah, congratulations.
Wonderful games tonight. I gotta say, well played for all 4 of the players we had tonight, and thank you both for the commentary. Does either of you have any last shout out you wanted to fire off? I'll take that as a no.
Nothing from me. No, just thank you for having me in the booth. Thank you everybody for watching. I'm looking forward to the next few games. I think CD Row, your game is going to be in the second half, so I look forward to watching you fare off against, I think Knight from Chess was your matchup for week 6, so looking forward to that. And yeah, looking forward to just watching more Eternal now and giving my voice a rest.
Wonderful.
Actually want to
yeah.
shout out to all Eternal Super League team for doing much work for this tournament to run, and for some folks from St. Petersburg Meta. Thanks for playing with me on Trained.
Gotta love the local metas coming in with helping our players out here and there when they can. That being said, thank you both for joining me, and we'll continue with our second half of the week 6. Hopefully, my co-commentator coming next is going to join us in a second.
Thanks for coming.
Been an absolute pleasure.
Bye, everyone.
Alrighty. And there he is, coming back from casting a show match yesterday. Aksu, how are you doing?
Doing good. Just a weekend filled with Netherlands content here in the Aksu Productions.
Very good, very good. Hopefully you have enough energy to cast a couple more games. We had some quick games tonight. We had a very quick games in OF 1515 playing against Toron. We'll see if the speed at which players have played so far keeps up during the night.
Yeah, it's going to be Eternal, so probably going to be kind of fast games. Of course, we can end up in this kind of weird situations where we get some really evil Glacier matchups, but that's just some spice to vary the life,
Yeah, absolutely. The usual, I want to say. Let's jump into the next game. Let me load up CDRO playing against Knight from Chess.
I need to join the Watch Together link.
Oh, yeah, come in.
It's PE? You got me commentating this?
Yeah, no, I know you're not. It's not your favorite, but that's how the cookie crumbles. We have 54 cards trap PE. We've seen Knight from Chess playing it on week 4, I believe, and then they had a bye on week 5. So we've seen a turn and a half of these PE, and I'm curious to see if we can catch more this time around, because it looks like a killer deck that just wants to end the game with some spicy traps.
Yeah, going to be interesting at least. Andromeda feels like it's going to be kind of good into the matchup. I don't think we have any hard tech, but interested to see how it goes on. And I think, yeah, we're live, just waiting a bit for the start.
Yeah, the players
taking a mulligan early on, interesting. Still opening double transfer of wealth, illumination, get everything online.
You can't complain about opening in Andromeda, but when you mulligan into 9 more cards, that any hand is gonna be quite good. Looks like Knight from Chess keeping, and we're off to the races. I enjoy seeing the chat being so divisive about PE. Some people are really excited, some people are not very excited.
I think it's historically one of the most divisive ideas ever printed.
Absolutely, yeah.
You get a wide range of reactions, if you want to say it politically.
It makes absolute sense. Knight from Chess opening once again with 3 new remotes. Last time we've seen, I think it was Mezzi going down to very low hand size because they were playing Eza. I'm expecting CDRO to keep some more cards in hand for turn 1 at least.
I mean, if we end up checking these remotes and we hit a Psychic Field, that is one classic from the past that might just be lethal early on. Illumination being sent in, installing 3 cards. We have 3 cards in hand. One of these not the most important, but compilation still. And Janet is having wonders apparently.
Yeah, as you can see, folks, Janet has been having a few issues here and there. The a few Eternal playable cards have been hit the hardest. This time around, it was only like the compilation trigger, I think, that got blanked by the interface.
Yeah, luckily nothing more important.
Stealing the Bloodword, sending the transfer on HQ, and getting it completely ducked by that hostile infrastructure.
Yeah, not the best feeling ever, especially when you have to actually float a tag to getting the access. Also down on 0 credits, not the funnest feeling in the world, but
yeah,
we
not where you'd want to be, but definitely between Citadel Sanctuary and the link that Andromeda has, I think CDR will not have trouble clearing that tag.
Yeah, also seeing Museum of History, I think that's mainly the reason that we're on this many cards in the deck. The Museum of History, of course, being influence free, if you make your deck evil as possible and play 50 bigger than 50 cards of a deck.
I love we're thinking the line that if a deck is oversized, it's automatically evil, but only on Corp side.
It's low key on the Corp side, like if you're
it checks out. So they are clicking back up with resources, and we see a Bloodword into a Core Guardian program. So Knight Frontier back in the money somewhat, and starting to ping off some of the cards away from CDRO.
Yeah, seems like a really good start. Luckily, we have the Desperado online, so can help mitigate this board state quite a bit. Hostile Infrastructure is a card you have to take care of first, though, probably.
It is going to be a lot of damage if you don't take care of it sooner than later. Also, Nitron just scoring that sting, it won't trigger the PE because we're still under the employee strike effect, so we're only dealing 1 damage, but it's a setup play that might open up new lines in the future.
Ongoing R&D.
It's refreshing seeing a Bioethics that doesn't cost 8 credits to trash. We've seen enough IG going around that 2 credits feels like the fair price you're supposed to pay for Bioethics, but it is scary for CDR checking these cards. And that thing is gonna be enough. Is that 3 damage?
Dead?
Oh.
He's getting wins that we maybe should not be getting. The hostile infrastructure getting the first ping damage, because of course it triggers on cards that you trash in R&D. And yeah, just hitting the accidental sting there. I think that's the only card that probably kills us.
Yeah, we don't have money for a bite or a snare, so that's the unfortunate just 3 damage coming off of the sting. The 2 out of 40 cards that kills you. I guess a Fuji might have done the job as well.
Oh yeah, Fuji, of course. If you're playing Fuji, which I would be surprised for.
It's a trappy card that deals damage, but yeah, it might not be the most common in Eternal.
It's right there, brother.
It doesn't kill.
So, four cards is 4 cards.
Fair enough. That was a quick one. Foreshadowing, I guess, but.
Yeah, I think this is the deck that we sold the least out of every single deck during this 3-week period. The PE just like getting like believe under 10 turns of gameplay.
It played I think a total of 5 turns, so 9 and then 15 clicks in total.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Definitely one of the better win over number of turns played deck so far.
Alright, we probably can jump into the next
Definitely.
one. Should be a bit more of a slower matchup. Mati kind of known for as the premium Glacier deck of the format, just getting those free ice installs every turn that your opponent has to like respect before actually running can get hugely valuable. Fighting against Andromeda, the deck we already saw last round or last match, but bit of a different version. I don't think we saw crowdfundings or some of the tech cards like the Source in the previous matchup, which are going to do some interesting things during here.
Yeah, Criminal has a lot of variety when it comes to spending points between crowdfunding, employee strike, and all the other tech cards. There's a lot of decision that the players can make in the deck building phase. Looks like Knight from Chess came out prepared for some more wider meta, because crowdfunding is great when you can run servers freely, and Matisse is not exactly the matchup where you'd want crowdfunding in, because it doesn't come back to hand all that easily. So we'll see how the matchup plays out, but it's not exactly great for a value-oriented runner in this case.
Yes. Also, this Kartik coming down turn 1 means that all of the resources in our hand kind of turn out to be blank. So just sending in accesses, getting a Tatubola in there, disabling the crowdfunding this turn. So not even getting that installed and having to discard down 3 cards. I think you have some decent picks there. The second Desperado and the Source not really doing anything. And crowdfunding, of course, you will be getting back from the dead on a later point of the game.
Yeah, Sidira maybe not as happy as possible to install that Tatubola. Waited all the way to the last click to do that. Maybe even baiting Knight from Chess to make those runs and get the crowdfunding in. So right now, Knight from Chess a little bit lower on credits, but we'll see if Sidira actually has more ice to install with MT. Because I would expect the spiky ice to come out first at some point with MT runs, and not happening kind of maybe hints at the fact that we don't have a lot of ice in hand.
Yeah, could totally be. Getting at least having a blank face check on the Tatubola means we can send a Bravado through there and just keep up on credits and play our econ operations.
Yeah, that's particularly nice against spiky Jinteki ice, and Sidira doing the Matisse special of installing cards in a remote without icing it, being ready to defend it with ice from hand at any point.
Yeah, this can turn really nasty even on any face check basically. And Andromeda kind of being a blank ID at this point in the game, and Rebirth letting us choose a different life path and just pick a totally different identity to turn into. Kind of interesting to see the options. I think Criminal is probably the one where you have a lot of like interesting techie options, where you have to like choose really difficult choices sometimes on what cards you actually want to get.
Yeah, absolutely. Criminal has a lot of variety between Leela, 419. Sometimes Nero might be a good matchup if you think you might have to jack out against some of the scary sentries that Jinteki might show up with. Knight from Chess landing on 419 for the constant tax or information that the ID can get, and probably expecting to install an Anamokua later down the line and getting some exposed triggers that might help the turtle get up in counters.
Actually, do you know this ruling? If you run and 419, does it trigger on the Mati install?
I believe it does. It's on every install, so I would expect that to be the trigger. So
Yeah,
I would expect CDO to have to pay one or expose the card and let Knight from Chess know if they want to jack out or not with some more information.
Yeah, kind of interesting like interaction there. So you can get these double triggers in there and tax the corp out even more. Basically get double the value out of your ID.
That's a very good point. Yeah, absolutely. Knight from Chess right now is sitting with 3 daily casts in hand, but having no way of fighting off the remote. So Sidira gets to trigger the Charlotte for free. Charlotte, staple in Standard and Eternal, great card when you're trying to defend a single remote and getting some value and fund all your expensive buys for later down the line. So absolute staple here in this format as well.
Yeah, kind of exactly the card Glacier decks want. R&D protected, medium coming down before the turn starts means that it's not doing as much. Kind of more of a deterrent and making sure Sidero has to sit back and actually install the ice first.
Knight from Chess.
Bravado in, we don't have a breaker here, could be a dangerous situation on Nancy getting seen.
That's maximum punish, I want to say. That's definitely expensive to deal with. A lot of cards are going out from hand and into the heap because of the text on Anansi. We'll see how Knife Interest decides to bounce back, but going down to very few cards on 0 clicks is annoying at least. I'm not expecting CDR to have some kind of kill in this case, but losing all of those daily casts is a lot of money that Knife Interest will not have down the line.
A lot of money and will be a lot of time that we have to spend drawing up if we don't hit an agenda here that we can start hitting the Aaron Maroon with.
An agenda would be amazing for Aaron Maroon, but I'm expecting Mti to trigger, and I don't know if I want to run into a face down ice. It's not likely to kill us here, but it's definitely a...
Yeah, I believe you luckily can check out.
You can, but that would mean not touching the agenda or getting the Desperado credit. So we'll see. We'll see what happens
I think
here.
somebody probably typing in chat already that Mati already also reorganized the top 5 cards.
Right, good point. I forgot the best subroutine on Nancy.
And I believe we probably are checking out here. Has to be safe.
5 is not a lot to res, but any Sizentan or Anemone could be game over. So Knife Chess safely jacks out, keeps the 10 credits total, and probably builds up some more cards in hand next turn.
And Charlotte keeping on churning out credits. Lacosta also getting rest, so you don't even have to manually advance it anymore. A really classic from Standard, as you said previously.
Yeah, exactly. 7 cards in hand, 6 credits, not a lot to play with, especially because the ice in this deck are fairly expensive. Basidio says to click the Jackson Hour, probably trashing some cards that are not necessary. Instead, no, just cashing in on the extra credits from Charlotte and then jamming something in server 2. Maybe believing that the upgrade, the face down upgrades we see in server 2 and the ice, between the ice and the T trigger is going to be enough to keep Knife and Chess out of that server.
Yeah, could kind of be. Not from just going out pressuring this Jackson Howard. And eating him another Mati trigger. Cannot check out from this one. Oh, Tatubola. that was scary here.
Moment of definitely a scary moment for Knife and Chess.
Yeah, that also does mean we didn't have a trigger anymore on the second or on the last click to protect the remote war, but no programs installed on table. So
yeah, it looks like the
Regenesis.
Ooh. I forgot that's what CDR is doing with this MT deck. So getting the Regenesis off, scoring out the Obokata protocol that was in Archives, and then jamming a next card in server 2. CDR are trying to close out the game very fast with this setup.
Yeah, down on 8 credits. Account Siphon could be really dangerous here. And we also do have the Boomerang to attack server 2. Of course, you cannot deal with the Mati trigger with that.
Count Siphon sounds scary, but the Tattoo Bola on HQ kind of insulates CDR from the credit loss and would at least rebate 4 of those credits before the Account Siphon goes off. And instead, CDR, Knife and Chess rather digging in the stack, trying to find breakers to get through that server 2, and installing the Class Act. The Andromeda callback from Ashes in the Andromeda deck in this format, getting 4 extra cards once again, and unfortunately missing out on every single breaker.
Yeah, you have the... What's the card called? The new special order.
Mutual favor? I'm surprised
Yeah,
I'm surprised you know special order more than mutual favor.
Eternal player's mind is a truly scrambled place sometimes.
Yeah, that makes sense. CDR pushing what looks like an agenda, or maybe just another Charlotte bait, but if that is the next 5-3, Knife from Chess does not have a lot of time to get in.
No, I think this actually might be just threatening to push out game here. 15 credits, an ice, and a Mati trigger while runner doesn't have anything on table is looking threatening as a board state.
There's one silver lining for the runner here is that 9 cards are definitely going to be enough to steal an Obokata. So if Knight from Chess can find a way in, they already have enough cards to pitch for the extra cost to steal the agenda. And I would expect Future Perfect to be the other agenda that might be sitting in CDRL's deck. So we have a good chance of getting the agenda if we can get in the server, but getting there is a totally different situation.
Yeah, also actually interesting. I'm not sure how many non-barrier eyes actually end the run. I think that is one of the weaknesses of the deck, where you actually don't have many hard end the runs. It's just a lot of really taxing, really big eyes. So could be an angle where you can install this Kurupira through the special order and just go in there.
Yeah, the scary part.
Mutual favor.
The scary part is losing not too many cards and also having to deal with upgrades. But Knight from Chess has access to a political operative, and they might manage to get into HQ, install the resource, and then use that one to deal with the upgrade in the remote.
The only issue at that point is the amount of clicks that you have. I believe kind of just taxed out on clicks here.
Turns out we paused. Yeah, we paused the video by accident. That's that. Knight from Chess wasn't tanking all that much. We just had. There you go.
I was just like, yeah, we're thinking about something here.
Going down the lines mentally, trying to find all the ways to get in. It looks like we just had a bit of a technical problem on our end, but we fixed it. And now Knight from Chess, thinking about how to get in. We're getting the paperclip. We have to install it from hand. We're just sending an account siphon on HQ, trying to call out the bluff on CDR and calling out that server 2 has to be something that's on an agenda. Otherwise, that would be game. But Knight from Chess playing the lines that they can.
I think this is the classic. I'm not making it in the remote server anyways, so might not as well try and just send it HQ to make something happen.
Yeah, trying to make the best play possible in the only situation where you can actually continue the game makes absolute sense. Shows that players are thinking about the lines, thinking about the game on a more macro level than just turn by turn. And the Tattoo Bullet goes back in hand and gets reinstalled. That's so much money, and Sidira is getting back before getting drained by 5. So Sidira ended up...
Yeah, that's a huge buff.
Yeah.
But he has gotten the quotation marks recently. Tattoo Bullet just an amazing card that when you can install it and get double deep on the value, as the young kids say. And looks like we're advancing cards.
Yeah,
scoring, going up to 5, scoring the Obokata. Kind of a clean game there from the corp. Runner just not really managing to fight through the scarcity on turn 1, as our wonderful format has these current still in there.
Turn 1 scarcity into the face check on Anansi on a couple of turns later was too much tempo for Knight from Chess, who's also struggled to find the breakers to get in and apply actual pressure. The account siphons took a while. All the boomerangs took a while. So yeah, not the greatest draw. A little bit of a slow draw from Knight from Chess. And CDRL correctly took advantage of this slowdown from Runner and pushed out enough agendas to win the game. So well played. It looks like a corp split for these two on week 6.
Yeah, does make sense. Alright, we can jump in the next one.
So absolutely.
I'm not sure who we had on the first half. I think I saw Augustus and O15 at least play. Oh, looks like we have Jai and Messi. So IG against Andromeda. An interesting matchup for sure. I don't think this Andy deck has any hard tech. So just gotta deal with getting that huge starting value.
Would you call Employee Strike an hard tech for IG?
No.
Alright.
Because it's more too universal to call it that.
Makes sense, yeah. So we don't have anything specific for IG, but Employee Strike is going to help Jai in the matchup. I think as soon as you get
Yeah,
down your
definitely going to be-
Desperado,
Yeah, super key cards to play with. Overinstalling the remote just to get another card. We need to get cards in the archives that desperately.
sometimes that's a classic IG play. When you're not sure how to get cards face down in archives, you don't have a way to overdraw them. You need to protect your assets a little bit. That's a classic way to just put some face down in archives and get a little bit of an extra taxing on the runner.
Yeah, Jai luckily has what we call in the business Exodia. Employees like Miss Bones, Dirty Laundry into daily cast as well if you want. Just an like kind of a broken start here.
Absolutely wonderful setup. Unfortunately, Dirty Laundry does not give you the credits to trash stuff, but Miss Bones is going to take care of that. Interesting decision from Jai to pick that one out instead of Clean Getaway. It lines up better turn one for with Desperado in some cases. But luckily,
some people have called Clean Getaway to be basically a direct. Sorry, yeah, Clean Getaway basically to be a direct upgrade on Clean Getaway, just because you get the credits early on. But Jai also might be just playing both copies. It's kind of a good card in general.
makes sense, yeah. Turtlebacks, 5 credits is trash. Really good card, really good economic powerhouse for these wide Jinteki decks. And it looks like we're just gonna install Daily Cast, probably discard the Paperclip.
Yeah, interestingly, keeping the employee strike in hand for a later date where we have more things to deal with.
Yeah, just taking the 1 credit off, maybe waiting for Mezzi to play a current and then clearing that out with Employee Strike. Jai deciding that the 1 credit here and there was not necessary yet to play Employee Strike and keeping it for a turn where maybe Archives has more face downs.
Yeah, 100%. And early aggression, meaning Jai has to take this turn a bit slower, drawing up. The class act would put us down to 1, but Jai deciding to take it. Interesting choices. Political Operative, a good card, probably not in this matchup. Same with Aaron Marone. Aumakua probably our only breaker that we actually need. So 2 really key cards and 2 kind of just empty tech cards that you need for other matchups.
Yeah, that's the other side of the criminal tech coin, I want to say, where sometimes you draw the perfect cards, a perfect tech card for the matchup, and sometimes you put in some tech cards that don't necessarily work against everything. And in this case, Jai probably not thrilled to draw this armor on this political operative, but they end up being HP against some of the damage that Jinteki is gonna throw at him.
Yeah, luckily we also do have a class act on the board already, just to get rid of those tech cards later on. Just put them on the bottom of the deck and keep drawing the actually good cards that we want. Still haven't found Desperado, which I believe would be the #1 key card to get in this matchup. You're ending up doing a lot of running, and if you can get paid for every single run, does change the math quite a bit.
Other major card I think is exactly what's on the screen right now. Medium is a way for forward runner against IG to kind of close the game out very quickly, not let them build this carry board that they usually would, and just find the edge in his R&D. IG doesn't play a lot of ice, sometimes plays a couple of cricks or vanillas in here and there, and that's all stuff that Aumakua can deal with. We see a warm reception coming out from Mezzi. We've seen Mezzi play with Keeling earlier a few weeks ago, so that might be the plan for Mezzi to close out games, just rezzing and de-rezzing Keeling to lower the runner's hand size.
Yeah, could totally be. It just doesn't draw up, install 1 card. And the eyes on R&D again, closing it out, finding an account siphoner. Sadly, Messi probably is really well in the position just to duck the account siphon, so not sending that right now.
Yeah, and also that would
This
probably
one.
trigger the Bladderword. So Jai, not necessarily thrilled to send the core back to 0. I would expect as well that Mezi can just stack most of these account siphons. That would probably end up only gaining Jai a few credits, but that also forces Mezi's hand on resing everything on the board and gives Jai a better idea of what to run and what not to run. So it might just be
Okay,
worth it.
we are sending it. I guess if you duck it, Jai can just. We get the 4 credits out of this?
That is a lot of money that Jai just got, and that's probably going to be spent trashing assets across the board.
Yeah, first of all, the number 1 suspect, Bladderwort, has to go behind custody.
As you say,
Take care of that one. And otherwise, I think probably not clearing the tags before you are actually forced to, and hoping to just steal one agenda at some point to get rid of the tags with an Aran Maron.
yeah, Mezzi not in a position to spend credits to
Yeah,
trash.
she done sneak through the table. Messi bouncing back, drawing 3, getting 3 credits on 1 click, an absolutely amazing value prospect. And Jai just not checking that server in there.
Trash overinstalling server 4, once again putting some more cards face down in archives. We've seen IG do very little so far in terms of taxing the runner, and Mezzi probably wanting more cards in there to buff up those trashing costs. We know Employee Strike is going to come out and shut that down at some point, but it's something that Mezzi has to think about while building her board.
Yeah, simulation reset being played does get a sizable amount of actually face down cards into archives. And yeah,
Shuffling back some
means
of the
everything.
threats. Bladderword is
Everything
back. Also,
4 more to trash means Jai kind of has to play this Employee Strike sooner than later.
Mezzi has been reluctant to res cards in server 4 and 5, so we don't know what they are, but we kind of know they're not worth resing yet, or they might cost a very few credits because she probably would have res some of them to duck the previous account siphon.
Jack could be hostile infrastructure. We were on 4 credits while the account siphon landed, so.
Yeah, not enough to res an infrastructure. That's a good point. Now, Jai, click 1, slammy the Employee Strike, and using the money to check some of these. Finds the Genetic Pavilions that hasn't been res. It looks like Messi is not interested in showing that one to Jai, not stuffing up the class act earlier this game.
Yeah, finding a Bladderwort hostile infrastructure cards that Messi cannot res yet realistically. And this is exactly why Desperado would have been huge here if Jai found one of the 3 copies early on. Getting 3 credits during the turn where you run 3 times would have been just a economic value grind that really is the way you win these IG matchups. You can sit around to access as many cards as you want, but you will at some point start losing the econ war.
Jai here digs for a sure gamble. I know he's looking for a Desperado for sure. No, hitting the Breach Dome, thinking about trashing it. It'll probably stay on the board. We'll probably see Mezzi overinstall it at some point. Just diligently checking all the servers, trying to find the scary pinging assets and trashing the biotics now that Employee Strike is still on the board. Now that it doesn't cost too much to trash.
And server 10 probably being overinstalled again. Everybody can probably assume what cards were on the table that got installed over previously.
Yeah, they definitely look like traps that are now poisoning Mezzi's archives. I wouldn't expect Jai to check archives anytime soon, unless he thinks there's enough points to snatch out a victory.
Yeah, basically 4 points, kind of a benchmark where you can think about running. Bravado and the Account Siphon, both cards, really good cards for a different matchup. Not really having any eyes to face check here. And dressing the Genetics Pavilion. after Jai went to draw 2 cards, so cannot draw any more this turn.
Just preventing the runner from drawing extra cards. It usually ends up being the kind of lock that makes runners slowly go down in hand size as you can keep up dealing damage to them. Right now, no damage on the board, so just a way for Mezzy to slow down the pace at which Jai draws cards and the chances for Jai to find more credits to deal with the assets. And we see another shock, another trap on the board. Jai diligently checking everything, but ends up eating those damage on every install.
Yeah, Messi definitely liking to install these cards. Haven't really seen this gameplay pattern previously, where IG just keeps installing every single trap from hand. But I guess against decks that are happy to check everything, does help quite a bit.
Yeah, it's also free with warm reception, so I don't think Mezzy is particularly sad installing that one. Just like the value from warm reception you get to install stuff. If you don't have anything better to install, it makes sense to just put down a card, try to take some time away from the runner, take a few clicks away from the runner, and maybe here and there get enough pings to slow them down.
Jai's checking, I believe, what was on which servers, knowing just when everything was installed. Letting him kind of take some guesses on what's actually on the table. There's the Desperado finally being found.
Massive
and this
hit.
will make Jai so much happier just to check everything. Deus is wild, good for next turn, and probably just checking something this last click.
Yeah, now everything virtually costs one less to trash, and whenever Jai finds something that he's not interested in trashing, they'll give him one more credit to use to trash future assets. Mezzy desperately needs to find another current, and Blade Strike is slowing down, blocking all the extra value that IG would be taking away from Jai. And Jai finds a future perfect.
Yeah, that's a tough position for Mezzy. Like, if you have to spend credits on actually protecting this, those are credits that are not getting you back into the game. So Jai kind of getting a free one there.
Yeah, very classic 0-0. When you find the future perfect on a central, Mezzy could have fought to keep that one in HQ, but there's no way of telling if Jai was gonna come back next turn to find it. So Mezzy is trying to cut her losses, use the credits to actually build remotes and res threatening asset and try to push her game plan forward instead of fighting over just a simple agenda.
Yeah, still haven't found the counter current to fight this employee strike, so seems like a tough spot. We did use Aron Maron once already, did get the class act value, and we have one more trigger, one more draw before Genetics Pavilion will stop us on the corp turn, but deciding not to take it, just valuing the run later on. Having one more server on the screen that we are not seeing. Bacterial programming on the table.
That's a massive find for Jai, but it's a way for Mezzy to find the current and finally start applying some pressure. Mezzy is trying to feed those points back, but it's a risky situation now.
So what's the agenda suite here? It's just future perfects and bacterial programmings, having to save eternal points on Obokata, I believe.
That checks out. Yeah, IG is very pointed between the ID and all the archive points.
Raid! That had been sitting in the hand for years at this point, and going in there, have basically a tech card for CI, and saving Jai on this matchup, meaning Mezzy has to discard all the cards that we actually had in the deck here.
I totally blanked on that being in HQ, in hand. Jai just sitting on it, probably not even focusing on it, and then as soon as the bacterial programming draws Mezzy a ton of cards, Jai snaps and sends the CBR 3 credits, but completely emptying HQ, and now Mezzy, all the value that she might have gotten from the bacterial programming is completely lost.
Yeah, luckily Corp can pick the order, so can put the counter current if we did find one on top of the deck. Options, Rebirth, Class Act, interesting to see if we go for the Rebirth, what options are we choosing?
Klasak, not the best card to find against the Genetic Pavilions. You can't draw your you can't draw a lot of your cards.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So we might see Jai just picking up the Rebirth instead.
Yeah, interested to see what ID would we be going into.
The classic here would probably be 419 once again.
Yeah, getting an economic advantage. Not having to check remotes is so good for this matchup here. Other option possibly could be Gabriel Santiago. No, deciding to go for just for classic 419. No undo click. Rethinking. Actually looking at the list. Looking at Vic for some reason.
Just for everyone's sake, we are not using Vantage Point cards yet. We won't be using them for Phase 3 either, so players have been instructed not to rebirth into Vantage Point IDs, so Vic is not a valid option for now. But Jay decided to go for Steve.
Right. Actually, Steve is interesting because I believe that's not counted as a draw on the ID trigger. It means that you can just get more cards into hand. Keeling on the table, a nasty one for sure.
But Jay decided not to trash it. It sounds expensive.
This turn, I believe.
Yeah.
Just can wait for next turn. But if this counter current comes online, can be a nightmare of a situation.
I don't think there's a second employee strike in the heap. I know Steve makes a lot of sense when you try to keep your current on the board. Mezzi is unlikely to defend HQ, and Jai could just get that back up.
I don't think Mezzi has the counter currents. Otherwise, probably would not be drawing here. No, yeah, that's so tough.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely tough situation between Aaron getting around the Genetic Pavilion and not having the current to turn off the employee strike. Jai is in a great position to just trash every server that's actually threatening and probably dig R&D here and there when Mezzi is too low on credits to actually res the ice that's currently protecting it.
Yeah, rechecking every single server. When were those installed? What do I need to actually check here? Server 13, I believe the Keeling, server 5, the hostile infrastructure.
Yeah, I believe we've seen hostile infrastructure.
I believe I know.
I don't remember everything else we've seen earlier. And Jai looks like deciding to check server 10.
Oh, 1 point reclamation?
That's another great way. Yeah, great way for Mezzi to fill archives with face down cards and maybe hide some of the agendas that she might draw, because Jai's only 1 point away, so any agenda that Mezzi finds is either going to be stolen or she has to hide it some way.
Yeah, 100%. Going HQ, getting blacklist res. That turns off DJ Steve completely. Oh, Steve this time. No DJs here.
Yeah, blacklist stopping Steve, stopping any crowdfunding. I don't think we've seen any from Jai, but other criminalists have been playing that, and stopping the paperclip that Jai put in the heap earlier from coming back. So it might have been bad if a key run was stuffed by the blacklist on a buyer, but it looks like Jai now knows about the blacklist and is probably going to trash it at some point. Probably soon, I think, if he wants to take advantage of Steve.
Trash though, right?
I believe it's a little bit less. It gets higher with IG, but blacklist. Let's see if my card reader can help me here.
Blacklist. Oh, apparently 3 to trash.
Only 3 to trash. I see only as if.
Taking it for the corp smartware distributor, you know.
How is that 5 credits to trash?
I don't know.
But yeah, not the nightmare that would that Genetic Pavilion is to trash, but still something that Jai is going to have to deal with. 3 credits is not exactly cheap either, especially for something that the corp res for free.
Yeah, now can go challenge other servers. HQ probably the most tantalizing one. Go get that Steve trigger. You're a free draw. or quotation marks draw. Getting Dirty Laundries lets you check more remotes this turn and just get more cash while you're at it.
Yeah, Jai in a commanding position here. Only needs to have enough credits to challenge the necessary remotes. If I need Rashida, something that Messi probably wanted to use to get back in the game, now getting denied the extra draws and credits.
Yeah, getting denied everything. Jai getting Messi kind of stuck in a position where they have to just click for draws, click for credits, try to do something, and Jai can just check everything, get Desperado credits while he's at it. Kinda cook the boards there, cook the books if you go with that logic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, I believe this turn is going to be quite similar. Just go check server 17, run HQ, and keep going on the game plan that has been working for us already.
Yeah, Desperado, the amount of credits that Desperado generated so far is hard to overstate. That's the card that single-handedly is keeping Jai in the game in terms of money. Between that and Employee Strike, everything is so much cheaper than it would be against anybody else. And it's like Employee Strike is necessary, but without the Desperado, I don't think Jai would have had enough money to comfortably checking all of these servers so far. Jai getting a few more credits back in and finding a fetal AI paying to steal it and yeah, closing the game out.
The credits gained are absolutely dire in that last game. I believe it was like 7 to 65 or something.
I'm going back and checking it. I'm interested. Let's see if yeah, it looks like 75 to 7.
7 to 7.
Yeah. that sounds like a rough game for Messi, who tried her best to put pressure on the runner, but just couldn't get through the Employee Strike, and Desperado generating so much more credits that her assets could handle. Thank you for the 6-7 in chat. Appreciate it, I guess.
I have to do it for the culture.
Makes sense. Let's jump into our last game of the night or of the week. We have Messi.
And I believe the final game of Scorp in the league. I'm so happy that Jai switched off this god awful ID. Like Prage in the chat.
Well, maybe a bit of a spoiler for next next phase, but yeah, we have Jai playing the Scorpius that he has been piloting and piloted throughout, I think, all of Season 1, playing against Eza, a matchup that's quite tough for the runner, I think. You don't get to use your self-damage all that well, and Scorpius can get through, can stop all the Avid Wars, Steelskin, and Strike Funds from happening if the ID triggers.
Yeah, that's a fun rules interaction.
Yeah.
Oh, checking server 1 first. This Scorptech's biggest problem is that it can be kind of prone to breaking, and it doesn't have actually that much access to liquid cash super early on, so can get in a tough position. Messi probably installing these titanium ribs, and it's the problem just might be that like you cannot install titanium ribs, hit the steel skin and get the draw before you bait Jai to use the Scorp trigger. Oh, if this hits a titanium ribs though, no lie, getting it.
Looks like we just risked it. And unfortunately, hitting the steel skin and Scorpius denying the extra value. Eza getting some amount of cards back because of the core damage, but not getting the full 3 cards that you would expect when trashing a steel skin with Eza on a core damage.
Yeah, Messi also getting this actual tool that we can get into remote servers with. The Endurance, I believe, the only card that actually breaks anything in the deck.
I believe Messi might be on 1 paperclip, as it's extremely efficient to get through all the eyes that kind of actually end run in some of the matchups.
Yeah, makes sense. Lord Jackson Howard being installed, drawing up. Can get rid of if we have SDSs or some such.
I mean, you mentioned Scorpius being not having trouble being liquid in terms of cash, and that's I think the one way that Mezzi can exploit this matchup is trying to force as many reses and dealing with the low credit Scorp as best as possible. I think the endurance being in the hand right now is a great way for Mezzi to kind of try to poke into the server early on, or to snipe away the Rashidas and the assets that Jai might be using to stay afloat.
Actually, nice hits. Finding the second strike fund, so Jai cannot stop both of these from triggering. Can decide what to give, basically what to give to the runner. I feel like there are like different balances between both approaches. And Jai not being able to trigger this for some reason. I guess another Janet. Oh, the blank buttons cursed strikes again.
So we'll see this hit both players. I think we've seen it hit runners earlier, and now it looks like we're hitting the corp as well. It's an unfortunate JNet bug here, and also Scorp is quite hard to represent in terms of the UI apparently. So requires a lot of attention on the corp player to use correctly.
Jai decided to give Mezzi the strike fund, just getting credits. Kind of a decent spot. Trashing the second steel skin though.
Yeah, denying the draw makes sense, but I think Mezzi is quite happy gaining the credits. I think Eza can also have a little bit of trouble installing the 3-ish cards that the runner needs to actually work between Titanium Ribs, the Clan Vengeance, and sometimes the Endurance, which I think is very important in this matchup. So Mezzi is not terribly unhappy to get the credits here.
Biawak in the remote is interesting to me. I guess Bunker already protects against every other server, but outermost Biawak is kind of a tough call. Could be. And Kostang installed hitting the boat out of hand.
Endurance getting trashed means Mezzi does not have a great way into servers, especially the ones that have 2 eyes right now. So Centrals are very open to her, but she is going to struggle to get into that server 1 right now. Her main way to get in that was the Endurance, and Jai using the Scorpius to remove it means we are not going to get access to that effect this game.
Okay, getting a second core damage on the turn. Titanium Ribs at least being installed finally.
We haven't seen any Clan Vengeance, which is like the way for Mezzi to win the game, right? To pressure HQ and hopefully put points in archives. We've seen Eza between sabotages and stuff getting 7 cards, I think, at least on archives, but having to fight through the Jackson, which is going to possibly save some of them. Does mean that Mezzi's not going to find too many points right now in those archives.
Yeah, getting a pre-popped here. Protecting against Rumor Mill, I believe.
Yeah, just to mention it once again, people, we are still playing with the pre-vantage point list. So Mezzi can still play Clan Vengeance and Rumor Mill in the same deck. So Jai, I think maybe correctly pre-popping the Jackson to play around the 4-point currents and getting maybe rewarded because Mezzi finds the Rumor Mill right away.
Rumor Mill, a decent card in the metagame.
Yeah.
Again, we actually get. We played the I've Wars, so then getting the draws out of it.
Yeah, because you can't get the draw from Avid Wars on core damage. It only triggers on net and meat damage. So a bit of a numbo there between the all the core damage tech that Eza plays and the Avid Wars.
Oh, and yeah, instantly sniping the same old thing. Not a card for this specific matchup. Sometimes you can get like a Levy into the bin just by discarding it, not counted as trashes.
Yeah, Jai playing
Three
around.
advancements, another eminent domain. Getting those big lizards up on central servers. Not central servers again, just going on the full remote game plan.
Jai on 2 credits calling out that server 1 is going to be where the game is going to be decided. So he doesn't have a lot of money to play with, but the server 1 is right now extremely secure. I don't think Mezzi can get in with her setup. I don't think the deck can get through a server like that. So Jai can just jam any agenda he wants right now. But he is letting all the central servers very open, and the keyhole that Mezzi just found is going to be possibly the way she finds the points to win the game.
I feel like just Tuska Keyhole, both excellent aggression cards into these soft open central servers.
Yeah, punishing the corp for expanding all of these resources on HQ, on the remote.
Yeah, next turn looking kind of scared with amped up and Keyhole staring us down. Oh, not even waiting for the next turn. Just installing, sending everything in.
As he going all in this turn, trying to find as many points as possible. Jai trashing 3 cards from R&D and just 1 from HQ. And once again, Jai not helping us in figuring out what is on top of R&D, unfortunately. Keyhole a bit of an easier fix, I think, because the corp can peek at the cards and tell the runner what they are, since they're going to shuffle anyway. So there's no information revealed that way. I think that's what the workaround I think is going to be for this particular instance.
And looks like we have a bit of a time jump. SSL Endorsement Sapper and SDS. That's a tough bunch of choices there.
There is a lot of agendas. It's not so Keyhole forces a shuffle, so you won't be able to steal both of those agendas, unlike you would be able to with Stargate. But Mezzi deciding to trash the SSL for now, getting those points in archives. We don't have access to any Romil right now, but that would be the way for Mezzi to shut down any future Jackson if Jai has access to any of them. It looks like Jai trying to figure out a way to trash the SSL and reveal it to Mezzi, just saying they're going to run the archive, so there's no need to find a technical way between commands to reveal that card.
Yeah, and sending it straight into archives. And we know there's 3 points in. Oh, never mind.
Never mind. That's, I think, 8 points between SDS and SSL and everything. So the
mill's hitting the correct cards there.
Yeah, as sometimes finding all the points, magically pushing every agenda from R&D into archives and just not having to run through any actual ice this time around. And that does it. I think another runner this time around runner split between Mezzi and Jai. And I think
the other week of the Eternal Super League concluded. I believe this was the 3rd week of the second grouping of matches. So next week, people will be seeing completely new lists played with the new ban list, if I'm not incorrect.
You're absolutely correct. We'll see new lists. We'll see players changing their decks and playing with the new updated point list. We're not using Vantage Point just yet. the lock-in date for our players was a little bit too close to the release date from Vantage Point, and we decided to skip out on the new cards, but you will get to see the updated meta, so you won't be able to see the same list that Mezzi played tonight, for example, that ends up being 8 points right now with between Rumor Mill and Glut Vengeance. You will see Toron having to adapt to an additional point on Wu, and you also see players not having to tech on the corpse side for the combo Wu that took the meta by storm a few weeks ago in Phase 1. So you'll see people getting freed from the shackles of having to deal with combo Wu, and we'll see what happens next, what people end up bringing in Phase 3. For now, let's take a look at the standings for the current week. We have, once again, no surprise to anyone, OF 2015 at right now 30 points, 5 straight weeks of sweeping all of his opponents. So right now sitting on 30 points. We have Jai on 21, fighting off 3 games away from matching the current point leader, and then we have Sidiro and Mezzi. Sidiro, at 18, then a big clump of Mezzi, Toron, and Nefronchess at 15, looking to climb back up. At the bottom, Ace Empress, Augustus Caesar, Ninja Mixer, trying to get enough points to avoid relegation and getting another invite for a possible Season 3. But they need to escape the bottom 3 for that to happen. Well, Axel, thanks for being here. Any shout out?
People should go watch the podcast.
Is there going to be an episode this week?
No.
I'm asking because I knew the answer, but
there's like 26 episode of older content people can go watch of me and Brandon arguing about random topics.
Fair enough. Also, great content there as well, definitely. And if you haven't watched the show match between Tiebreakers and EA Sports that happened yesterday, you can catch that up as well on Axel's channel. So follow the King's Court podcast and take a look at Axel's YouTube channel, that's for sure. And I think that does it for tonight. So thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you in a week with week 1 of Phase 3.